going on, folks? The drive after 5. We're about to get with it. That's right. Heading home on this beautiful Monday. Have a little sunshine out still, so that's great. We're going to get right into it. And today I'm going to be trying to do some national calling frequency. What that means is like not a repeater. I grew up, when I mean grew up, I mean since I got my ham license, I've always talked on repeaters. They're kind of like, they're not like cell towers, but you get the gist of it. You go to your cell phone, it connects to a cell tower, and then it connects you to somebody else. So I was doing repeater stuff. So we're going to get on it here and get some just over the air radio to radio stuff going on here. Get us some music going on as I navigate through downtown Ottawa. And when I get through a couple of these twists and turns, then we're going to key up the old radio there. Also, tonight is Monday night. As I said earlier, we'll be having our Monday night net at the local club there that I belong to. And then we'll be having some fun doing that. So who we got with us today? You can leave your stuff in the comment section. I see there's one person watching. We're going to get started here. Crank up the mic here. Just want to get through this turn. We'll get the music down and we'll get the radio rolling. So again, for all you guys that are just joining, you're on the drive after 5 with VA3EWV. If we can't get anybody on the national calling frequency, then we'll switch to the repeater, VE2CRA, and then after that we'll just see what we can do. Okay, I've navigated through that, so we'll get that down. Alright, let's see if we can get somebody on national calling frequency there. This is Victor Alpha 3 Echo Whiskey Victor VA3EWV Mobile.
Victor Echo 3 Oscar Tango Whiskey.
Victor Echo 3 Oscar Tango Whiskey. This is VA3EWV on the drive home. How you doing this evening?
Oh, Ernest, I thought I heard you. VA3EWV, VE3OTW. Well, things are good here. It's been a very lovely day today. Hopefully you had some time to enjoy it. And yeah, it looks like the rest of the week is going to be nice. A little bit on the cool side, but all things considered, it's supposed to be nice out. How about your day? How have you been?
Good. A nice, easy Monday, right? So cruised through Monday with no issues. That was always great. The day was not too slow. When you're slow at work, it makes for a slow day, especially since I work 10-hour shifts. But the work was coming in on a nice, steady stream. Made the day go by pretty quickly. Got some sunlight on the drive home. That's always a plus. And I walked outside the building for a little while with no jacket on today, earlier around lunch. And everybody had on light jackets, no more thick jackets. And some people are already walking around with their legs out, so that's a good sign.
Well, come next week, Curtis, you'll have an extra hour of daylight in the evening. Now, in the morning, it's a little darker, but in the evening, when you come back, you're going to have an extra hour of daylight to work with. So you have that to look forward to. And yes, you're right, the days are getting longer, and the weather is certainly getting quite nice around.
Amen to that. Because I was trying to figure out what I was going to do about my my light situation in the car there. I have a full like sunroof, whatever you want to call it there. And Yeah, I have no center light in the car. Just two lights right at the front that might, and they just shine straight down. If you're looking at a map, you're good, but if anything else is happening, you're SOL. And in the back, by the two back seats, there's just a little light over the head of the seat, not over the head, but on the side, closer to the door. So you have nothing in between. So if there's no light shining in the car, you're almost in the dark.
QSL artist, so tell me this, if you have a sunroof, if you have a sunroof, how did you mount your antenna there?
Yeah, when I got the car, funny story, I was in the dealership and I was like, hey, what does if equipped mean? If equipped. Because I kept saying, what is this? I don't see this on this particular car. And I see it in the book. They're like, okay, that means that you can get it, but it's not an option on this particular car because of the trim. So they had to teach me about trim and all this stuff like that. And then I've heard of fully loaded, but even fully loaded doesn't always mean fully loaded. So when I ordered this car, I said, I want everything that it can get. I want it, like everything. I got all the accessories, even the carpet, the winter stuff, and then I got the roof rack, which is optional on the Equinox there. So I have my antenna mounted on not the roof rack, because there's a roof rack, but then there's a rack thing to the side, whatever that extra thing is, and I have it on that over.
Oh, I see. Well, that makes sense. Well, it certainly works out for you. And you're able to get into all these repeaters, so it seems to be working. So yeah, that's great. And with the sunroof, yeah, I can imagine drilling a hole in the middle of the roof. That's not exactly an option with the sunroof there. So yeah, okay. Well, if it works, it works. It certainly sounds like it does. So good on you. Ernest, how did the weekend go? Did you build the NFED antenna? I think that's what you mentioned last time. You're going to build an NFED and try out some HF.
Come on now. It was very fun. VE3 EZB, he did his thing. I got there to his QTH. He had everything laid out on the table, all the parts and pieces, and the instruction sheet. And he says, I'm going to be over here on the side, and you're going to do all the stuff, and I'll help you when needed, right? So I got to do soldering, which was pretty difficult, I want to tell you. I did have flux heat. This guy had everything, because he's been messing around with it forever. If I had to get the equipment just to do that one antenna, the one antenna or the little wire antenna NFED, it'll cost me some money, because I actually absolutely had nothing, right? I have nothing, NOTHING. But since he had a lot of stuff, it was pretty easy, and he had some nice stuff. One of the biggest things I found out, was when I was trying to get ready to do the soldering, you have to hold it, and you have to solder it, and you need two hands of solder. So I'm like, where's the third hand? But luckily for him, he had these clips. Over.
QSL there, Ernest. Yeah, I think they actually call it a third hand. And it holds it close while you apply the solder to it and the heat to it. So yeah, they do have those extra hands, as they call them. And at least all the tools were there. That makes a big difference. If you have all the tools, then you can really do a nice job. Soldering, it's quite difficult. I've never mastered it myself. It really takes some getting used to. You have to practice and have the right stuff and apply everything properly, the right heat and so forth. It's never good at it myself, but that's great. That's great. So did you manage to spin around the dial to see if you're able to listen to any stations there?
Oh, that's a big negatory on that. I was just, I think a person, if they had lots of experience, would have knocked that little setup out in probably an hour, max probably, because we had to measure everything, and he showed me how to measure it, and we walked it out 68 feet. I remember all that stuff, and I had it was just, I got there at 10, and I left at maybe 3. It was 5 hours, but it didn't seem like 5 hours. And it was long, and I kept apologizing. But, when I was doing the soldering, for example, they said, okay, I'm going to show you how this is going to work without flux and how it's going to work with flux. I'm going to show you how this works with this, and I'm going to show you how it works without this, And it was all me. They sat there, how you're teaching somebody to drive and you're just sitting there with your hand close by the wheel so you don't wreck your car. But it was all me, and it took a lot of time. And in some cases, I just didn't know how to hold the stuff or approach the hold. And he's left-handed, I'm right-handed, and I had to turn stuff backwards and stuff. And I have some issues with my hands from military accident, and I couldn't squeeze the crimper because some things you have to crimp, then solder. So I had to push the crimper on the desk and bear it down with my weight with it on the desk, because I couldn't squeeze it with my hands over.
Right, yeah, it can be, crimping too. And crimping's a bit easier, but it's quite tough. And you should solder. It's you get a better contact, but if you do a good crimp, you should be able to get away with it. So, so as long as everything is secured, you should be good to go. But it sounds like a very fun project there, and you got it a 10 out of it, and I know it's 5 hours, but that's the learning curve. I'm sure if you had to do it again, it would be a lot faster, and you would be a lot more proficient at it. But now you have an antenna, you can listen into the bands and see if the propagation is good or not, and listen into some QSOs and have some fun.
Well, so the plan is, now that I have the antenna, he let me borrow the radio. It's an Alico radio. It was top line at the time. He was telling me that it was the first radio, and everybody else has that same type of design now. He was telling me it was the first one with the detachable head and all this kind of stuff. So it's his pride and joy. He hadn't used it in a long time because he's dealing with these newer machines with the touch screens and waterfalls and this and that. But so now it's getting a coaxial cable to connect to it, looking for somewhere on my property to hang it, and then setting up the radio, because all those radios, like nothing in ham, it's not like CB. It's not like just static channels that never change. You have to go in there and get things all set up. So he was like, oh yeah, that's a part of it. And I'm like, well, I'm using somebody's stuff, so I'd rather you come over and check everything out first and make sure everything's working, and you test it first, so if the doggone thing blows up, it's not on me, And that's a good idea about using other people's stuff or trying to test something, or if the club had something to use. But now, I don't want anything to happen to it in my possession, so I said, you can come there with me and sit beside me like you did the other time, and I could, do everything. But before I transmit it to this thing or whatever, make sure the power supply is connected correctly. Make sure you check all the SWRs since it hasn't been used in a long time, and I'd rather you have a go with it first than just me, and then calling you saying, oh, it's smoking or something over.
QSL. Yeah, well, you know what they say, if you break it, you buy it. So that's why I come to safe and take those precautions. You don't want to break something, especially something with hopefully once you get it set up, then you can try and listen. Usually the problems start with transmitting. If you transmit, that's where the problems happen. That's where the proverbial radio blows up. But listening should be okay. There isn't as much danger in receiving as in transmitting. Transmitting, that's where bad stuff can happen. But the listening, there's not much that can go wrong unless unless it's about power supply or something, but other than that, as long as you don't have big, you should be okay.
Yeah, QSL. And I'm not going to be transmitting anyway, so that gives me some confidence, you know. So I'll look for coax, and what I'll have to do is see. I have a soldering iron, but once I looked at what everybody else has used at my house, so I've had lots of guys coming over and helping me get things set up and going, and they were bringing their own equipment, and I just went and bought a little soldering iron. It has one tip, and it's a very it's like a needle point, and I already know by using their stuff, I'm going to put the coax through it first, right? But now you're giving me some confidence. So not tonight, because I have my net tonight and all that stuff like that, but maybe tomorrow night I might crack open that box there and at least get it connected to the power supply and turn it on and look at through the manual and see what I can do. I've learned a lot, you know, over this past year. So I might surprise myself, and with YouTube, you know, you can't go wrong with that. And since it's so old, it probably has all kind of videos already out there. So you give me confidence just by saying how easy it should be just to sit there and do receive only, eh? Uh-oh. Starting to lose him.
Listening it's a lot deeper. Usually when you set up the radio, you attach the coax at the antenna before you turn on the radio in case you accidentally key up. Or else if you key up and there's no antenna there, then there's a problem. But if you're not keying up and you're just listening, it should be a lot safer process. There's a lot lower risk of things going wrong or blowing up, as you say. But yeah, if you're see what happens. And absolute worst way for him is the antenna and the radio. So it sounds like you're almost good to go for the most part, just to turn it on and see what happens.
I think I see VE3RLG. He said he's on 146.520. I just passed the Amazon plant, and I'm starting to lose you. I think we were able to go to Moose Creek repeater the other day. Maybe that wasn't you, but do you have the Moose Creek repeater programmed into your radio or no?
I do have Moose Creek programmed in here, but I'll have to step out in a few minutes here. So once we break the transmission, I didn't but I didn't hear anybody key up there. This is Victor Echo with your Oscar Tango Whiskey with VE3UV Mobile.
Alright, VE3 Oscar Tango Whiskey, I'll let you go. Have a good rest of your evening, and I'll catch you back when I see you again. VE3RLG, VA3EWV Mobile, standing by. I guess I'm not in range of you yet. VE3RLG, this is VA3EWV, standing by. Well, go to VE2CRA, see if I can't get him over there. This is Victor Alpha 3 Echo Whiskey Victor, VA3EWV Mobile, standing by. But I had to squint to look at the writing on the phone there. It's very, very, very tiny, kind of like Apple serial numbers on their phones and stuff. So I saw your icon, I mean your picture, so I knew it was you. Hey, what's going on there, Michael? How you doing today? There we go. Okay, I think he wrote this post there. VE3RLG, VA3EWV mobile. See if I can get the Moose Creek repeater at least. This is Victor Alpha 3 Echo XC Victor VA3 EWV mobile. Anyone on frequency? This is Victor Alpha 3 Echo Whiskey Victor VA3 EWV mobile standing by. Oh, I think I heard somebody there.
You ready? I've been ready since I woke up this morning. Don't know why I woke up in your passenger seat decades later.
That's the phone frequency again.
I'm ready.
This is Victor Alpha 3 Echo Whiskey Victor VA3 EWV mobile standing by. Ron, I'm back on 146.520. Usually I'm past Amazon, so I don't know where I'm at right now. I'm almost to Embrum. Embrum is up the road there, so I can see it on the GPS. So I'll try you one more time. Victor Alpha 3 Echo Whiskey Victor VA3 EWV mobile. Anyone on frequency? I heard someone in there, but I couldn't break him out. Yeah, this is VA3 EWV mobile. I could almost hear you in there, but I couldn't pull out the call sign over. Hey Devin, how's it going, man? I'm gonna see if I can't get PGC on here. Everybody, you guys are all familiar with PGC, so let me just see if I can get that on here. If I have it programmed in. So not on that one. Try VE3 PGC. This is Victor Alpha 3 Echo Whiskey Victor VA3 EWV mobile standing by. Nope. Not hitting PGC. I'm going to try SDG. This is Victor Alpha 3 Echo Whiskey Victor VA3 EWV mobile standing by. That's a big negatory. This is Victor Alpha 3 Echo Whiskey Victor VA3 EWV mobile standing by. Okay, that's VE2CRA. So hopefully somebody might come in on VE2CRE. So I'm about to pass Calypso for everybody that is local to the area. I'm passing Calypso on my left right now as we speak there. This is Victor Alpha 3 Echo Whiskey Victor VA3 EWV mobile standing by. What's 42, Michael? You put 42 there. Try national calling frequency again, see what's happening there. This is Victor Alpha 3 Echo Whiskey Victor VA3 EWV mobile. Okay, you said 42 is like 10-4. Okay. Never heard of that. Okay. Try before I shut this down. I will try a couple of the local repeaters. Since I've passed Calypso now, I might be in range of a couple other repeaters. Let's see. It's all in the day's work trying to get people out there on radio. VA3 RLV, VA3 EWV, go ahead. VA3 RLV, this is Victor Alpha 3 Echo Whiskey Victor, go ahead. Oh, here's the old national calling frequency. This is Victor Alpha 3 Echo Whiskey Victor calling VA3 RLV. Go ahead. There we go. VA3 RLV, VA3 EWV returning in the mobile. Yeah, I thought you were on VE3 SVC because I have both VFOs going. But I see you on national calling frequency. How are you this evening?
Yeah, man, it's good, Mary.
Bring that back one more time there, VA3 RLV.
I said, come on, Sabah, bien, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Had a good Monday. A good day at work. Racing home now to test out all the equipment before the net starts at 7. It says I'm getting home at 6:30, so I always run through all 8 repeaters and stuff like that. But I have to take the radio out the car, put it into the house, get it all connected and stuff like that. And it's starting to wear out. My mobile antenna is starting to fray a little bit, and I'm getting scared of that. I wish I had a second radio. I wish I had a clone of this one, so I wouldn't have to do all that back and forth stuff.
Oh, well, you know, the secret in life, Ernie, is not to worry and not to sweat it. I mean, you lived in Louisiana. How close did you live down to the Gulf? How close are you to the Gulf? Were you in New Orleans?
No, Central Louisiana. So Alexandria, Pineville. And then that was still getting a little bit too close, so I moved up to Shreveport, Bossier. I moved up to the far northern tip of the state. But I spent a lot of time in Baton Rouge in Louisiana and in New Orleans, and did not like the hurricanes and stuff like that rolling through there every year.
For downfall, I'm sure it's beautiful down there, and you got a lot of heritage down there, and great big walls to keep the sea back, and all types of seafood, all types of street food, street and all that. I've never been down there, but I will say this though, I know this much: if you live close enough to the coast, within a mile or so, I almost want to have my house on stilts. I wouldn't be living there.
I couldn't see why people wanted to live there either. When I look at all these other states, like California, where people live on the side of the cliffs, and every time I look at a YouTube video, some house falls off the cliff, I'm like, why? Why are you spending millions of dollars to live on the cliff that's going to crumble, right? And we always have the hurricanes down there, and I just couldn't understand why people were living through that year after year after year. And then I found out that most of it's poverty, right? I had the money to move, but I moved the hell up out of there. I got way out of there, all the way up to Canada. Where they have a few tornadoes, but a tornado is definitely different than a hurricane, eh?
We've been getting them up here. They're like no other tornadoes in the States. Same thing. They got a small path, a little attitudes and trees. They could become a 4, depending on the weather system. I think the closest winds that came into my neighborhood would be up in St. Isidore, just north of me. And I saw the video on Messenger the day it happened, and the stop signs are going back and forth, but, I've seen that before in a microburst. I've never been in a hurricane, but anyhow, everything comes with the territory. You go out west, you might get rain all at once, and if you live near a really road's going to walk maybe part of your house, or there might be a fire, or there might be an earthquake. Ice storms are the only thing up here, and power outages is the only thing I don't like. Everything else seems to be somewhat tolerable.
Yeah, good. So that came into play when we were looking for a house. Well, I was like, why are you so picky about houses and trees? So my house, around the main house, our tallest tree that's in the back, if it fell down twice, couldn't hit my house. I absolutely have no trees around the house. And as soon as we moved in there, when the spring came, I cut all the trees down from the front yard and all that stuff like that, because they were dead from the ash bug, but I still didn't want them up. And even those, if they fell, they couldn't hit the house. But I'm not having any roof decay or anything like that from fallen leaves and all that stuff. I'm not having anything taken out by any dead limbs or trees or anything like that. I have it all around the perimeter of the 2 acres, but nothing that could, and that's by design. I was making sure I didn't have anything, and I was looking at a house with the big picture frame windows. Yeah, that's a big no too. Because when you're living down south, you're asking for cars and farm animals and everything else to be sucked through there when the roof comes off over.
Yeah, I know. You got to think about a storm cellar or shutters, so you don't get all your windows broken from flying debris. I mean, that's actually, shutters is not a bad idea anywhere there's been tornadoes, to be quite frank. Of course, if you got a lot of windows, I guess you got a lot of shutters put up. But anyway, all they are is just to guard the glass so it doesn't get broken. So they can be plywood painted on hinges that you're able to put on there. But anyway, where you at right now? You on 138?
No. I don't ever broadcast on 138. There's just too much going on. I'm close to it, but I'm not on it yet, though. I forget how far it says, but haven't passed that way station yet, eh?
The secret to the 138, or the dirty 8, as I like to call it, let people stay ahead of you. You'll go to 80K. I guess you got to do that, or they'll be right on top of you. But you want a lot of distance between you and the next car in case somebody does something stupid, or you see someone's going to pass up ahead. Because they do it. They take chances, man. They got death wish. Every year there's someone dying on there almost. And that's actually, I don't know if that's a proper percentage for the amount of vehicles traveled there, but it probably is the way they drive. So anyway, Ernest, if you want to drop by, if you got any time, I'm here.
Roger, I really appreciate that. Last time I did, and I had a very hard time getting everything set up because I don't have a lot of time. Like I said, it says the time of arrival at my house right now is 6:28. That gives me a little bit of time to get in the house, get the radio switched over, and if everything is wrong, I have to go and find my backup so they can run the net. You know, I run the net every Monday night at 7, 8.
Yeah. Now, what's that town in Louisiana? Natchez, is it? What's it called?
1 kilometer. Exit right.
So you have Natchez, Mississippi, Natchez. So Natchez, Mississippi is in Mississippi, and Natchitoches, Naticothes. That's where I went to university at.
In 400
That's in Louisiana. So we have Natchitoches,
right.
Louisiana, and Natchez, Mississippi.
Okay, the one in Louisiana. I'm pretty sure it was John. He was always, I used to speak to him there back in the 90s.
Exit right.
Solar cycle. So strong, man. We were 4-watt radio. Like I could talk to these people in Texas, but it wasn't always running that direction. But if you go a little bit south, I was like, bang,
right.
5'9", and I say to the one guy up in Fort Worth, I said, you think I'm going to go and spend $400 on a linear amplifier when I can talk to John Boy down in Louisiana in my Marlboro on 12 watts? What would you do? You'd save the $300, wouldn't you? He certainly didn't argue with me there.
Amen to that. The whole time I was here, I'll be letting you go shortly, but the whole time I was living here in St. Andrews, I would go out to the top of the hill where some lumber place is, and I would try to get back home and talk to my friends. And I had a 350-watt amplifier on the K40. I even pulled the car up beside the house. I had my Antron up 40 feet, and I still couldn't get back home to my friends in Louisiana. And they were sitting there listening hard and pointing beams and everything. But I can get to Texas and Florida on either side of it, you know, or Alabama or anything, but not just because they were too close to the Gulf. Hey, anyway, I'm gonna get off of this thing here and keep my eyes on the road here. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and I'll be coming in tomorrow a little later because the wife wants me to stop at the Costco there. So tomorrow will be a better day to stop by and say hi and maybe have a coffee or something over.
Yeah, do you ever go food shopping in Alexandria? You ever go that way?
No, she just has certain things for gluten-free stuff at Costco there. Let me know if you're going to be around tomorrow, and I'll give you a holler. I get off work at 5, and then I have to do the Costco thing, so that's always takes me about an hour to navigate through that and all the lines and stuff. So I'll hit you up then. Anyway, VE3RLG, this is VA3EWV, and I'm going to be clear off the frequency. Have a good day at 7-3
Hey Ernie, I'll be around. I'll be around my holler. I'll give you a holler on Messenger, on your Ron LG, and probably not going anywhere.